Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May we commence this forum with the traditional task of heralding light and dispelling darkness and ignorance by the lighting of the oil lamp. We are very pleased to acknowledge the presence of our keynote speaker this morning, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, and I'd like to invite him, Mr. Priyantha Fernando, to step forward. And joining him in lighting the oil lamp would be Mr. Chandula Abevikrama, the DGM of Marketing and Retail Banking of HNB PLC, Mr. Shirish Apte, the CEO of City Asia Pacific, Mr. Craig Wilson, Executive Director, the Foundation for Development Corporation, Mr. Glenn Reyes, Citibank Country Officer, Sri Lanka, Mr. Renzi Vijaythilaka, Chairman of HNB PLC, Mr. Rajendra Tyagaraja, the Managing Director of HNB PLC, and Ms. Mary Ellen Iskandarian. Good morning to all of you and a very warm welcome to the conference sessions of the Asia Microfinance Forum. Gathering of so many of you having traveled so far bears testimony to the fact that the issue of microfinancing cannot be understated, especially in the context of Asian economics. This forum, the Asia Microfinance Forum, provides the opportunity for all of you who practice microfinancing in your own styles and techniques back home to share experiences, gather new knowledge, and fine-tune your practices for the greater benefit of the communities that you serve. That's 3 exciting days of conferencing with some very, very eminent speakers presenting papers on various aspects of this theme. There's also ample time for networking. We do hope that you will all take full advantage of this opportunity and take the maximum that you can with you. The Asia Microfinance Forum, this particular event here in Sri Lanka is hosted by Hatton National Bank, and it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Chandula Abevikrama, the Deputy General Manager, Marketing and Retail Banking of Hatton National Bank, which is the largest private sector commercial bank in Sri Lanka, to address you. He's also the chairman of the Banking with the Poor Network, BWTP, who are the conveners of this forum. The BWTP is the largest Asia-based microfinance network, having its secretariat in Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Chandula Abevikrama.
One line, two release. Stand by two.
Aibuwan, Vanakkam, good morning to all of you.
One release.
It is indeed a great pleasure for me to stand before and welcome all of you. Our chief guest, Deputy Governor, Mr. P.J. Fernando, Suresh Apte,
Stand by one.
Chief Executive Officer, Citibank Asia Pacific,
Stand by.
Mr. Craig Wilson,
Two line.
the Executive Director, Foundation for Development Corporations, CEOs of the commercial banks, CEOs of financial institutions, the delegates, the ladies and gentlemen.
Stand by one.
Asia Microfinance Forum
One line.
is the foremost gathering of
stand
the meeting of minds of the various stakeholders
Two line. One.
of the microfinance industry in Asia. It gives me tremendous pleasure this morning to see around 450 delegates gather
One.
for deliberations of 4 days.
One line.
Asia Microfinance Forum is been organized
Two.
for the third time in Asia, with the theme of financial inclusion, achieving Asia's potential. I have 3 simple words to demonstrate how we could
Stand by one.
achieve
One line. Two other end.
the financial inclusion, achieve
Stand by two.
the Asia's potential.
Two line.
Those
One
3
line.
words are indeed enhancing, empowering, and enriching. Enhancing the capacity to create access to financial services to more people in more places. The empowering 2 billion people in Asia who lives under $2 a day
Two. Stand
by dynamic partnerships
One release.
and linkages to trickle down the progressive economic development to the people who matters. Enriching by continuous improvement in creating millions of micro entrepreneurs
One line.
and graduating them to be sustainable business entities
Two line.
in Asia. We have nearly 4 days of deliberations, discussions, and idea creations, innovative suggestions taking place. And all those have to focus on these 3 simple words of enhancing, empowering, and enriching. Through that, I believe that we can bring light, life, and liberty to the people in Asia to come out of shackles of poverty.
One. Stand by.
And I believe these next 4 days of deliberations
Stand by two.
will, by all those 450 people who we are responsible for nearly 2 billion people
One.
in Asia, would tremendously have an impact on the solutions that we will bring forward. This forum is not only discussions, idea creations, innovative suggestions, but inspiring people
One line.
to touch the lives of our
Two standby.
region, particularly Asia.
Two.
After the financial crisis, Asia is rising up to strengthen the whole world. And in this status of Asia, the microfinance industry takes a preeminent position. And the financial inclusion is critical, as I said, to enhance, empower, and enrich the people of Asia. Through that, we can do the same thing to the whole world at this critical hour. We are indeed much privileged also in this time in Sri Lanka, after 3 decades of ethnic war. We are in the threshold of a greater and more equitable economic development trickling down
Standby.
to the nations right across.
One line.
And at this critical time, this Asia Microfinance Forum would be a beacon, and not only a beacon, it is going to be a great inspiration to hundreds and thousands of people who are the drivers of the financial inclusion initiatives in this country. And it is indeed my request to all the delegates who are here,
Standby.
all the speakers who are here,
Line.
that your suggestions, your ideas, your
Two
innovations
standby.
will turn pages of the history of this race, of this Asian region. With that, I wish to thank you all for being here and wish a very fruitful deliberation discussion. Thank you.
One line.
Thank you, Mr.
Two
Abe Kumar.
standby. Two line.
As you are probably aware, ladies and gentlemen, the City Foundation are primary sponsors of the Asia Microfinancing Forum, and we're pleased to have with us today Mr. Shirish Apte, the Chief Executive Officer of City Asia Pacific, and he will address you next. He is also a member of City's senior executive and senior leadership committees. Mr. Apte took on his current role in July 2009 after serving as CEO of City's Central and Eastern European regions.
One
Ladies and
standby.
gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Shirish Apte.
One line. Two release. Standby. Two.
Thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be here this morning. Honorable Deputy Governor,
One
Mr.
release.
Fernando, Mr. Chandula Abhay Vikram, and Mr. Craig Wilson. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of City and the City Foundation, I'm very pleased to welcome all of you to the official opening of the 2010 Asia Microfinance Forum.
Standby. One.
City Foundation has been a proud sponsor of the Asia Microfinance Forum since its inception 4 years ago.
Two line. One release.
The microfinance landscape, as you know, has changed considerably since then. But we believe that the need for vigorous and wide-ranging dialogue among the industry's stakeholders is very essential. I'm delighted that the 2010 forum is being held here in Colombo in Sri Lanka. As my colleague Glenn said last night, Sri Lanka's long history of microfinance and great potential for further expansion makes Colombo the ideal location to bring together so many microfinance experts and specialists from around the region. City has supported microfinance globally, and our support here in Asia is underlined by the knowledge that this region will remain an economic powerhouse for decades to come. But let's reflect for a minute. While Asia is growing, developing, and creating wealth, it is also the region which has the highest number of people in poverty. And over 60% of the